Hello YouTube, I'm back again, but not like the last time I was back, because now I'm back from after the last time I was back. Well, you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, I'm back after the nightmare of trying to get my flight simulator up and running again, and it has taken me like a week. Now, I want to do an update first of all. I put out that video that I filmed on my phone, letting you guys know, hey, my computer is absolutely crapping out, and asking if anybody was able and willing to make some donations for me to try and get a new one or build a new one. And a lot of you responded amazingly, far better than far kinder than I could have ever even dreamed of, to be honest with you. Within just a few days, there's over $500 in there. And you know, I'm sure there will be some more folks that'll donate as well, and hopefully we'll get enough money to build a new PC. But like I said in that video, I wasn't giving up on this one here. I finally, after a week of almost all day every day trying to get things working right, I seem to have something going here that seems to be working out, and I hope it holds out for this entire flight. The drive that had all of that information that I lost, well, that drive is clearly crapping out because I've lost more information off there. What little bit was left, and then during the install I had added my Ultimate Traffic Live. I'd put it on that drive, and now it's gone. So that drive's clearly crapping out, which puts me in a bit of a pickle because I don't have a lot of space until I can get a new drive in there. All that being said, the Windows problems as far as startup and all of that still exist. I want to probably go to Windows 10, but I'm debating whether to update this one to 10 or to wait until I build a new one or whatever. But in the meantime, as long as I can keep this thing running and I can get flights in, I'm going to make videos for you guys using this PC. So, but I really want to thank all of you who responded the way that you did. There was no negativity at all, and I really appreciate that. And many of you pitched in, threw a few bucks here, a few bucks there, and I couldn't possibly even dream of asking for more than that, and I appreciate it so very much. And you know, we'll get to whatever amount we get to, and then when I have the money to make up the difference, we're going to build a new PC. You guys let me know down in the comments if you're interested in me trying to film the building of that PC and posting it on my channel so that some of you can see how that's done. I'm no master at it by any means, but I do know how to do it. So if any of you are interested in that, please let me know down in the comment section. Okay, enough about that, except for one final thank you very much, truly and honestly and heartfelt. I really I love you guys. You're amazing, and I appreciate it so very much. You guys are just awesome. So I will do a video at some point where I want to make sure that I recognize everybody who's donated, and I've asked each of them individually if they mind their first name being used in a video, and most of them have said no problem. A couple have said they'd prefer not to, so they'll be listed just as anonymous donors. But I do want to make sure that a little ways down the road here, I will definitely make sure that we do a public thank you to each one of you guys. But you guys know who you are, and you guys are fantastic. And if you weren't able to donate, or you still want to, go to the video. I think it's titled Channel Update. There's an email address in the video description. Shoot me an email there. I'll tell you how to do it, and we'll go from there. So I'd love to see if we could get all the way there quickly so that we could build a new PC. But I understand, you know what, money's tight for everybody, especially nowadays. So you know, don't sweat it, guys. We'll get to it when we get to it. This one's working for now, and we're gonna roll with it, and hopefully everything works out without any problem. Okay, another one of my really long intros there, right? Today we're going to fly from Edinburgh, where we landed on our last flight. We flew across the pond in a 757, and a couple of folks said, you know, I asked you guys what aircraft you want to see next, 737 or 747. The majority of you said 737, and then one of you recommended this flight. It's Edinburgh to Madeira. And one of you guys, a friend of mine, he's a subscriber, he's also a good friend of mine, Alex. I've mentioned him a few times now already. Alex had this UK 2000 scenery for Edinburgh, and he gave me a copy of it, or bought me a copy of it. I'm not sure. I think he bought it for me, obviously. So thank you very much, Alex, for that. It looks absolutely beautiful. It loaded in just fine. Once I finally got things working right, it loaded in fantastic. So we're at a proper airfield now, which is nice. It's always nice. And then we're flying over to Madeira. Madeira? You say Madeira or Madeira? Don't really know. But either way, we're flying in there, and I've got Aerosoft scenery for that airport already. In fact, I think I did a video where we landed there. So we're going to see how that goes, and hopefully I don't mess things up too bad. Alrighty then. You know what I forgot to do? I forgot to check the time. I don't really want to land there at night, and this is a long flight. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to pause the video for just a second. I want to make sure that it's earlier in the day in the sim. I should have checked it, but I'm going to make sure anyway, and then when we come back, we'll be on the flight deck, and we'll get going from there. Alrighty, folks, I took a quick look at the time. Sure enough, it was late in the afternoon, and I just don't want to land at Madeira, that one, at night. Not on this flight, especially since I've only really got a couple flights in since I started flying again. So, made it a little bit earlier in the day. Might look a little darker outside, but I think we're going to be good to go. Now, I haven't been in this aircraft in quite a while. I have not flown it at all. I've only had an opportunity to go a little bit through the startup and whatnot, but I think we're going to have a good time with it. As you can see, I've already got ground power on the aircraft. I've already taken care of loading our fuel in our packs. We've got, we're going to release with 26,260 pounds of fuel. I did, even though this is a Ryanair airplane, I did go ahead and convert it over to pounds because that's what I know. I know the kilogram is 2.2 pounds, but I don't want to do the math in my head, so we're going to stick with pounds. Right? Good to go. We were scheduled for 188 packs, but this aircraft only holds 174, so I think I went ahead and maxed it out. And then we got 3,410 pounds of cargo and baggage. And I think that's really the gist of it. I don't want to drag this out too long, so let's say we jump right in here with our flight planning and dispatch portion of our checklist, which I don't think I'm popping up a checklist for that. Maybe I am, maybe I'm not. If I am, there it is. But we want to make sure we've obtained our flight plan or filed it, which we have. Passengers and cargo is set. Fuel, the weights for fuel are set. And the fuel is calculated and ordered, which we've already done. Weather briefing has been obtained. Right now, main things we need to worry about is wind is 240 at 6 knots and altimeter is 3045. And I think that's it. There's nothing else crazy going on. It's not raining or anything like that. We've checked our NOTAMs, and I've got my charts off to the side ready to use here. And then, of course, I'll make the little video clips so that you guys can see the charts for the briefings. All right. Moving on to aircraft acceptance and exterior inspections done. Fuel is loaded and verified. Doors and stairs are ready for boarding. Now, I do have my GSX working now. I just popped it up on the other screen over here. You can't see it. I'm going to request boarding now. And they'll start loading folks on the aircraft. We can hop outside here. You should see, well, he's coming over there, and the baggage carts will go up at some point. I guess, yeah, the cargo doors are open. So anyway, they'll start loading, and worst case scenario, I'll stop them if I have to, if they're taking too long. All right. So moving on to our cockpit acceptance checklist. The parking brake, this guy is set. Battery is on. It has to be in order for us to even use the external power. The electric hydraulic pumps are off. That's these two guys here in the middle, and those are off. Down is on, up is off. Landing gear is in the down position. Start levels. Yeah, start levers. I think I always say levels. Start levers are in the cutoff position down here. You can hear people boarding back there perhaps. Let me get my spoiler handle out of the way from when we use the FMC there. Moving on. Overhead fuel valve lights are illuminated. If you didn't see those, there they are, right here, illuminated. We can turn, that's on, that's off. So these are all in the off position right now. Okay, moving on. Ground power is on. Fire warning system needs to be tested. We'll jump back here. You got left click, those light up. Right click, you get the bells. And then both left and right should get the green lights here, which we do. So we're good to go on that. Emergency exits are armed. That's also the emergency lights. So when you click this guy here, that arms the emergency exits as well. If I'm wrong about that, somebody let me know, but I'm pretty sure that's how it is. Sorry, jumping back up top here, the signs both need to be in the on position or auto. I guess just on and auto. Do the attendance call. You can hear them loading in the background. You might hear some people talking, so that's good. Recirc fans need to be on auto. That's these two here. Engine bleeds need to be off, so they need to go up. And then we've already commenced passenger boarding, so we're going to go there. Now, normally we do the APU start here, but I'm going to let it run on ground power for now because I just don't fully trust the fuel calculations with you know, PFPX and stuff. It hasn't totally steered me wrong, but it just makes me a little nervous. So I'm going to stay on ground power while we go through the rest of the process, and then before push and start, we'll start up the APU. Make sense to everybody? Sweet. Moving on. Overhead setup's what we're going to go to next then. So we'll jump back up here again. If you're not dizzy yet, you will be soon. Yaw damper needs to come on, but without hydraulics, it's just going to go off. So you can click it on, you'll see it's going to go off again. But we will get a warning on our ICUS. Hold on, I got a cough in your face. I don't know why that's going on all of a sudden. I was doing fine right until I started recording. Anyway, we'll get a warning on the ICUS or on the recall, whatever. I can't think of the name of it. Anyway, we'll get a warning that tells us it'll say flight controls, and that reminds us that the yaw damper is not on. Okay, moving on. Fuel pumps on is required. We don't need any on yet. We'll flip them all on when we go to turn on the APU. Equipment cooling, normal and lights off. That's these lights up here, as far as I know. Window heat needs to come on. I always flipped all of these, but this one's the test switch, I think. See? And then back off, and then those are all on, but I think I was always turning that one on. Probe heat needs to stay off, anti-ice needs to stay off, hydraulics panel, system A and B switches both on, so that's all 4 of these here. And then electric low pressure lights need to go off, and that's going to be these lights right here. Moving on over, our left and right pack both need to be on auto. That's these 2 here, they're on auto, and then our isolation valve needs to be open, which it is. And then pressurization panel is this guy right here. Flight altitude, I believe we're scheduled for 24,000 at first, but we're definitely going to step up from there. I'm thinking we're going to go to probably 340. That's a guess right now. I probably, well, hold on, it'll go quiet for a sec here. I hate that it does that when you switch windows. Step climb, why does it say 240, but then we step climb up to 370? Must be because of a change of direction or something, because we step climb to 360 and then to 370. So it's going to be 370 ultimately. So that's what we're going to go for. Should have looked at the whole flight plan, right? It's about 200 feet at Madeira, so there we are, 200 feet. What else? Exterior lighting as required, and then ignition left or right. So our exterior lighting is good for now. Ignition is going to stay on the left over there. And that's it, except for we do need to take care of the alignment of our IRS. That's all the way up top here. We're going to right click each of these twice. It's going to say on DC. When they both go to align, left click them once to put them in the align mode. And I've got it set to align in about 30 seconds. So that'll take us down to our FMC initialization. Hop down here, go to FMC. I had a heck of a time getting the air rack to update properly. I'll explain that some other time. But we want to go to our position initialization page. Start by putting in our reference airport. I always do this wrong. I just grab a position and put it in there. Do the reference airport first. We are at gate 6, so we'll put that in there. And now we'll go to the next page. We'll grab this GPS, which should be the same as what it says here for gate 6. So 56.9, 322. Oh, we got to clear that off. There we go. It's pretty close. Yep, spot on the same. So we definitely are at gate 6. Once you've got that, it'll start initializing. Once it's done initializing, you need to put it in the nav position. We'll go to that in a little bit. Let's go on to our route here. So our origin is EGPH, right? Oh, it was already in there. I forgot. It leaves it in there for you. So there we go. EGPH, and then Madeira is LPMA. LPMA. There we go. Our flight number today is going to be FR Fox Romeo 1886. So I grabbed an actual flight number for Ryanair, but it does not. There's no direct flight actually that we're doing here. There's actually a bunch of connections. So anyway, it doesn't matter. So there we go. That's our flight number, and then we need to go. If we go now to our departure arrival page, we can choose our departure, which is the GOSA 1C. So this one here. And runway 24 is going to be our departure runway, and then we'll click on route, and if we go to the next page, you'll see it's got both of those in there now. So GOSM is our first waypoint, and then we're going to take Papa 600. That's going to be our airway, and we're going to take that all the way to TRN. So TRN, and there's going to be a step climb there as well, up to looks like 360. So I don't know why it shows 360 twice in here, but anyway, up to TRN, and then from there it's direct to Dagos, D-E-G-O-S. There we go, Dagos, and then from there to EVBAK, E-V-B-A-K. There we go, and then from EVBAK it is direct to Tamil, T-A-M-E-L. Remember that I'm spelling these out loud for my sake, not so much for yours, so I don't forget. From Tamil, it's Tango 213 is our airway, so Tango 213. And we're going to take that airway all the way to Berux, B-E-R-U-X. I think I'm saying that right, R-U-X. There we go. And then from Berux, it's direct to Petek, P-E-T-E-K. Go. I should get one of those little like add-ons where I can have an actual FMC and type it in. It might go quicker. Then from there direct to Obesa, O-B-E-S-A. And then from Obesa it's direct to Lidro, L-I-D-R-O. If I can find the L. And then from there we'll be on to our arrival of Lidro 1C. So let's activate that. Execute, and go to our performance initialization page. Remember, click the 0 fuel weight once, click it again. Now I just want to double check real quick. Make sure our fuel didn't change. There we go, 26,260, good. Let's put this on the doors page so I don't forget to close doors. I forget that a lot. Cruise altitude ultimately is going to be flight level 370. And our reserves are about 6,000. I'm going to put it at 5. Nope, that's cost index, not what I wanted. 5. And then cost index is going to be 75. That right there. Execute that. Go to our N1 limit page. Did I miss something there? I did, didn't I? Cruise wind. Nope, I got it. N1 limit. So we're going to do a regular takeoff. We're not going to derate, and we're going to do climb 1. And that'll take us to our takeoff page. Flaps are going to be 5. And our center of gravity, click on it once, click on it again, 14.8. And I'm just going to, you see that there, I'm pulling up TopCat real quick, and I'm just verifying. TopCat says, I completely lost my, center of gravity is what I'm looking for. It says trim at 5.5, and our sim says 6.5, and on weight and balance it says, if I can find it here, why can't I find it? Center of gravity, where are you at? I must have lost my mind. I can't seem to find it all of a sudden. I know I saw it a little while ago. I'm not going to sit here and mess with it. Center of gravity for us is going to be 14.8. I was just curious as to whether or not TopCat was accurate on that. So we're going to be 143, 144, and then V2 is 153. Alright? And that takes care of our FMC initialization, as a matter of fact. And that takes us to the main panel setup. You see the checklist popping up there. Let's start with our minimums as desired. So this is our minimums here. I like to keep them at 200. So 200 is where they're going to stay. Flight path vector, that's fine. We're going to leave that as altimeter. We're going to set local. So the altimeter we said was 3045. And I'm going to use the cheat key. I hit B or the Bravo key and then put it 3045. Now by now our IRS should be aligned. So let's just hop up here real quick. If you right click these back to nav, you should see the numbers pop in up here. Make sure we're on present position here, which we are. Come back down here and you can see all our displays are coming on. And I turned the brightness down on them. I cannot stand this blue color. I don't know why. It just bothers me. It doesn't look right to me. So I turn the brightness down on them is what I do. And you can just do that by spinning these knobs here. There we go. Anyway, I don't like the blue color. Moving on. So the altimeter is set. Mode selector is currently on map. That's where we want to be. What we didn't do, actually, we didn't check our flight plan yet. So if we pump this guy up, we move this to plan. This one right here, that moves it to plan. And then let's move that to the side just a little. Pop this up. I'll bring them side by side for you here. We go to the legs page, and then we can step through. But you have to be on the plan mode on this little knob right here. Okay. So we step through. This is our departure. Actually, that's the last page. So I would expect vectors out of there, but it looks like it's just straight ahead. So it's a few miles out, straight ahead to UWNB, and then a right turn there. And what we're doing here is we're making sure that everything's connected and that there's nothing crazy going on. And if you need to, you can change your zoom. Like we're at 20 miles right now. That's at 40 miles there, and so on. So take it all the way out, and then there's lead row, and then we haven't put in our arrival yet. So we'll check this again once we put in our arrival. Does that make sense to everybody? I'm sure it does. So back to initial reference. N1 limit's done. Takeoff page. We're all set there. Shrink both those down. Put this back on map. And there we go. Moving on. Center switch as desired. That is this switch right here. You can center it, or you can have it like that. You can change all kinds of stuff on this. We're not going to mess with it. We're going to leave it as is. Range selector as desired. We'll leave it at 20 for the moment. Probably change it in a while. MCP, set the course if needed. Let me just double check my chart here. I know it goes quiet for a second. I apologize. So our runway heading is going to be 241 degrees. So I want to set my heading. Maybe. There we go. Should have gone the other way, actually. Doesn't matter. 241 on this. There we go. And if we wanted, we could set our course to that too. It doesn't really matter though, because we would want to set our course like if we had to do an immediate return and we wanted to have like an instrument procedure or something, you know, programmed in for that. That's what that would be for. I hate how those things are kind of bouncing around constantly. Anyway, moving on. Flight director on. There's actually two of them. You got to click both of them on, that one and that one. And then auto throttle stays off, which is this guy right here, and it is. We do want to set the MCP speed. That's this guy right here. Now we're going to set it to 153 plus 5, so V2 plus 5, which is 158. I think I was mentioning in the last video, some people say it should be plus 10, some say it should be right on. I'm going with plus 5. Heading is already set. Altitude, we're going to set that all the way up to 370. I don't think we're going to need to step climb. I have not looked at, you know what, I'll tell you what I'm going to do here. I'm going to take a break for just a sec. I want to look at the departure and just see if there's an altitude restriction that we need to set it to, just to try and be a little more accurate about it. So I'll be back in just a second. Okay, so I took a look at the departure real quick. You can see I reset this to 6,000 feet. I took a look at our legs page. Our legs are programmed to be at the right altitudes, and you'll see it during the departure briefing, but we got to maintain between certain altitudes until we get out to Gosum. At Gosum, we have to be at 6,000 feet, and then from there we can start our climb. And I didn't read everything, and I'll read it when I do the departure briefing, but basically keeping it at 6,000 is where we're going to need to be, and that's also going to be transition altitude, so that's kind of interesting. Nobody answered down in the comments on the last video. Does anybody know why transition altitude is so low in Europe and other parts of the world when it's 18,000 feet in the US? I find that a little strange. There must be a reason for it. Anyway, moving on. Autopilots need to be off, which is these guys here, and they are, and the disengage bar is up. No flags on the PFD. Auto brake needs to go to RTO, this guy right here. Engine instruments, check. There's nothing to check right now. Comm radios are fine. Nav radios are fine. We do want to come down here. Wrong one. We want to come down here. It is really bright to me since I redid this. The only thing I haven't been able to install, there's a bunch of stuff I haven't installed. The one thing I wasn't able to get to install right now was the Rex 3D textures, and I think those made it a little darker, which I preferred, but hopefully it's not too bright for you guys. I may even do something on the edit of the video to make it just a shade darker. But anyway, nav radios are good for now. Transponder needs to be set. So 1200 is for VFR flight. We're not doing that, so we'll go with our standard 2336 if I can get on the right one there. There we go. And that's just the one I picked because I like it. Okay, and then we'll do our test here. Let that go through its thing. In the meantime, speed brake needs to be down. We can put that back down now. Thrust levers are idle. That's these two here. There's our TCAS test is good. Engine start levers are in the cutoff position. And the stabilizer trim, we haven't set it yet actually. So trim, what did we say it was supposed to be? 6.55. So I do it with the mouse wheel because it actually shows it to me with the little thing there. And I'll show you why I do that here in just a sec. You guys probably, most of you probably know, but that's 5.9. We don't want that. Down one more. 5.3 is as close as we're going to get. Let me just jump down here real quick. So you can't really see 6.55 on there. So I like that it's got the little tool tip or whatever it's called there to show it to me. But that's gonna do it for our main panel setup, and that actually brings us up we're ready for pushback. So what I'm going to do, as I always do, is I'm going to pause for just a sec, make sure to miss anything, make sure GSX is still working properly, and then we're going to push and start and we'll be on our way. Okay, so that's one of the things I'd forgotten about GSX is sometimes it takes forever to do its loading of packs or baggage or whatever. Like they didn't load the baggage until after the catering trucks left, but the catering trucks hadn't left because I hadn't closed the doors yet, and I didn't get a notification to close the door. Oh, GSX drives me a little cuckoo sometimes. I haven't used it in forever, so we're going to see how it goes. But moving on, we're getting ready for pushback and start, but before we can do that, I hate this really creaky chair. Let's jump up top here. We need to start the APU because we're running on ground power right now. So starting the APU is a very simple process. Battery and all that's already on. We're going to go ahead and flip our fuel pumps on. Even though we don't need all of them for the APU, we're going to flip them all on right now anyway, because we're going to need to do that in a minute either way. Flip it to on, and then this is the left click, and left click it again to start. Now, the needle here on the exhaust gas temperature is going to spin all the way up. It's going to settle back down around 4, and when it does, this little light's going to come on, and we're going to be good to go. While that's happening, I do want to talk about something real quick. So I have service-based failures turned on this aircraft. Now, obviously, I just started flying it because I just reinstalled the sim and all that good stuff. But when I was trying to do, I was going to do a test flight in this aircraft. Not this one; it was the Southwest. But either way, in the 737, before my disastrous reinstall attempt or update attempt. But anyway. When I went to turn on the APU, it wouldn't turn on. I kept getting a fault message, and I thought there was something wrong with the sim, but then I remembered I got service-based failures turned on. And I went down into the FMC, went into service section, and sure enough, there was a problem with the APU. It wasn't working right, so I did the service on it, and then I was able to use it. So pretty cool, like how that works. Anyway, you see the light came on, so we'll send the power out. That's just how I remember it. And now we're on APU power, right? Good to go. Oh, jeez. Can't seem to clear my throat. We need to actually go all the way down here. You can see I've already closed our doors. I'll show you real quick just in case you're wondering. If it says open, that means it wants you to open, or that's what you're going to do. They're all closed right now. So good to go on that. Ground connections. We can disconnect the air conditioning unit. We can disconnect the ground power because we're on APU now. And the pitot covers definitely need to come off. Let's double check. Parking brake is on. The light's on, so we can remove the wheel chocks. Fantastic. And I don't think we're going to need this page anymore, so I think we can just go to the FMC here, put that on our progress page. You can also put it on your, is it cruise or climb page? You can put it on your climb page. I put it on the progress page. That's fine. All right, moving on. All right, we're ready for our push and start here, so let me get GSX fired up real quick. Prepare for pushback and departure. We should hear them talking here shortly. I'll let them do that, and then we'll go through our checklist really quick, and you should see it popping up there anyway.
Hello, Captain. We are ready for pushback.
Sweet. Waiting on you. I don't think you can actually talk to it. I guess there's a new version of GSX out, version 2 or something like that. Let's go down some of this checklist while we're waiting on them. Passenger boarding is complete. Doors are closed and locked. We've got our clearance for push.
Locking gear.
What do you say? See, that's why it's hard to talk over him. I don't think he said to release the parking brake yet, though. I think he said he's locking everything in. Okay, moving on. Throttles are idle. Start levers are off. Packs need to go off. These guys up here. Right click off. Oh, I already had them off. Let's see. We want to go nose right, tail left. No, we want to go. That's the only option it's given me, so I guess that's the route we're going.
Departure check completed. Bypass pin inserted. Release parking brakes. Commencing push. All engines clear. Start at will.
Okay, so it's not a big deal. I already did our taxi briefing, but instead of going on Foxtrot 1, we'll be going on, I think it's Echo 1 or Foxtrot 2. I don't know which one they call it. But anyway, that's fine. Okay, so packs are off. APU is running. Bleed air pressure is good. Fuel pumps are all on. Anti-collision light needs to come on. Let's just jump up top here so you can see it. So anti-collision light needs to come on. This needs to go to strobe and steady. I think that's, yeah, there we go. We can put our logo light on, wing lights, wheel well lights. We'll put all those on real quick. Parking brake has already been released. We're pushing back and we're ready to start. So what we're going to do is we're going to flip the starter on engine number 2, this guy here, to ground. And once the N2 reaches 20%, then we'll bring in the fuel. So there we go, it's on ground. We're looking at this guy down here. Pop it up for you. Oh, little chop there, huh? So we're waiting for this to get to 20%. Once it does, we'll bring in the fuel. Easy enough, right? There's 20, fuel coming in. Oh look, there's an airplane right in front of us. That makes perfect sense. Ugh. This is why we shouldn't have pushed back this way, because all the traffic's moving the other way. Well, we'll do our thing. We'll see what he does. If I have to, I'll flip a UE. That's fine. It's not the end of the world.
Confirmation for good engine start.
Okay, so we're waiting for engine 1 to stabilize, and then this guy will cut out or go back to the off position, and then we'll do engine number 1. There it goes, back to the off position. Let it stabilize for just a second here. Good enough for government work, I always say. Flip engine 1 to ground. Look down here, waiting for this guy to get to 20%. There's 10. There's 15. And there's 20. Bring in the fuel. I've had some folks say that it's that it should be 15%. I don't know. You tell me. Anyway. Alright, well that's coming on. Let's take a look. We can go ahead and start looking at our after start checklist. We do need to wait for that engine to stabilize to complete everything, but we can take a look anyway. So engine generators both need to come on. That's going to be up top here. Actually, that one we'll have to wait a minute for. Probe heat needs to be on. It's these two here. Let's see. We can put our yaw damper on while we're staring at it there. Engine bleeds need to go on. That went off, so both engine bleeds can come on now. And our engine generators can come on. That's these two here, so send the power back is the way I look at it. Engine bleeds are on. Packs go to auto. That's a recirc fan, not the pack. One left click there, packs to auto. Isolation valve goes to auto as well. And then the APU bleed can go off. That's this one, right click it. APU switch, it says as required. We're going to turn it off. We don't need it for the taxi, so right click once and off she goes. External lights as required. We'll turn those on here in a second. We don't want to blind these guys. I'm really bad about doing that. Looks like I'm going to have to flip a UE or something. Are they waiting on me for something? Let me look at the little thing and see if it says anything. Confirm good engine start. Okay. Confirmed. I had to actually click that. Master caution light off, which it is. Recall, check, and clear. So we're going to go there. Okay, so I confirmed that with GSX. Let's stop here. Complete pushback procedure. Okay, he's going to come up and unlock. So I guess you have to choose that. I thought it used to be automatic. I guess they changed that. That's all right. Okay, while they're doing that, let's go ahead and take care of our taxi checklist. We've got our clearance. Ground crew, we're just waiting for them to get out of the way. Taxi speed is however fast we want to go. Brakes, we'll check those as we pull out. We do want to set our flaps. We're going to be doing...
Tow truck disconnected. Bypass pin removed.
It's going to be flaps 5, which I think is 3, right? Yeah, three clicks down. It's flaps 5. It's different on every aircraft. So you're going to drive right into that Airbus? No. Okay, waiting for him to get out of the way. We're waiting for the ground salute from him. And we're going to have to flip a UE because...
Right is clear.
Alright, there's our salute. Dum-Dum's still sitting in our way. So even though I could just go right through him, because, you know, it's a simulator, right? I'm not going to. I'm going to take a break for just a sec. I'm going to give it a minute and see if he goes away. If not, then we'll just flip a UE and off we go. Be right back. Alrighty then, he's clearly not going anywhere, so we're just going to have to flip a UE right here. It's not going to be too big of a deal. The taxi brief that you'll get here in a second will stand as appropriate. Little jump here from Trackire coming on. There it is. Looking good. Brakes off. Bring in a little bit of throttle. That's a lot of throttle. I try to get those calibrated just right, but it never seems to work for me. Let's see if that's enough to get us going here, though. Oh, yeah. Just get a little forward momentum going before we start our turn here. And let's go ahead and flip her around. We should be able to make this turn. It's a little tight, but that's alright. Those throttles, they look even. Alright, I'll get her flipped around here, and why don't we go ahead and take care of the taxi and departure briefings, please. Alrighty, let's take a quick look at our taxi brief here. It's pretty straightforward. We're at gate 6 right about here. We're going to push back with our tail to the right, nose to the left. Move on up this way here to Foxtrot 1. Bang a left, bang a quick right on Alpha, and then down to the end there. And there we are. ATIS is going to be on 131.355 and ground on 121.755, tower on 118.705, and that's about it. So here we go. Alrighty, let's take a look at this departure briefing really quick here. It's going to be the Gotham 1 Charlie. There's that creaky chair again. Let's see here. We are taking off on runway 24, so that's going to be this way here. You can see out here, and this is all written down here as well. We'll go over it real quick, but you have to be between 2,300 and 6,000 feet at UW at when you're 9.5 from ITH. So these are GPS waypoints too, probably. But anyway, at 9.5, you got to be between 45 and 6,000, and you need to be at 6,000 from ITH all the way out past Mavix and Gotham. And it says here, do not climb above 6,000 until instructed by ATC. So they make a pretty big deal out of it. Looking up at the top here, transition altitude 6,000 feet. The SIDs include noise preferential routes. Cruising levels will be allocated after takeoff by Scottish Control. Report your SID designator, turn altitude, and clearance altitude on first contact with Scottish Control, and expect, I have no idea what this is, something data link authority to EGPX. I don't know what that is. So if you can read that, somebody tell me what that is. I'd appreciate it. Scottish Control is going to be on 124.825. Coming down here real quick, Gotham 1C, there is a minimum climb gradient of 7.7%. So we get to 4,500, then 6.6% up to 6,000 due to ATC and airspace restrictions. Our routing and altitude text down here for Gotham 1 Charlie. Climb straight ahead to UW. We already did talk about that. That's this guy right here. Cross above 2,300, but a max of 6,000. Turn right 262 degrees. Cross distance 9.5 from ITH. Above 4,500, still max 6,000 until your distance 14 ITH at 6,000 to Mavix. Turn left, intercept TRN radial 037 inbound to Gotham, and then off we go. Sounds pretty good to me. Let's do it. Alright, well, we're sitting here waiting for a couple of aircraft to come in, which are probably right on top of each other, as they always are. Let's take care of our before takeoff checklist. Should see it popping up there. Master caution needs to be off, which it is. Recall checked and clear. Recall is checked and clear. All you do is click on this, and that does the recall for you. Flight controls checked. I've already done that. Flaps are set to 5. They're indicated 5 here, and they're 5 down here on the flap lever. Trim is set. Should be 6.55. We're at 5.3, which is as close as we could get. Flight directors are on, and takeoff briefing or departure briefing has been completed. Strobe lights are already on. I don't know why it has you wait on those. I think you're supposed to turn those on before you taxi out. But anyway, wing lights are on. Landing lights need to come on. We'll turn those on when we pull out onto the runway after Doofus here. That was the guy who was right in front of us, by the way. Oh, he's gone now. That's amazing. Okay. Engine start switches need to go to continuous. I forget this one a lot. Right click those over to continuous. Auto throttle needs to be armed. LNAV and VNAV should both be armed. And the transponder, I've already set it to TARA so that I can see the incoming traffic. And as you can see, there's quite a bit of it there. Let's zoom this down a little bit. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 aircraft, one right on top of another. So it looks like we're going to be sitting here for a few minutes. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and pull up to the hold line there. We're going to wait until we have some space to get in there. And when we do, I'll hop back on here and away we go. Alright, there were 6 aircraft lined up there, and all but one of them did a go-around. Track hour coming on a little jump here. There it is. Let's get some throttles in there, make sure the brakes are off. Let's get on this runway before anybody else gets lined up. And as we're pulling out here, let's get those lights on. Click the bar, click those. There we go. Good to go. Get those throttles off a little bit. And let's see, heading bug is aligned with the runway, throttles, we know that. Hopefully the button eye program for Toga was the right one. We'll find out soon enough. If not, we'll do it the old school way where we just throttle up. Sound good? Sounds good to me. Alright, let's get her on out here. My throttles are a little uneven, but I don't seem to be having the, what do you call it, reverser issue that I was having before. So super thrilled about that. Alrighty, bring her all the way around. We'll come to a short but complete stop. Alright, about there. Alrighty, I think we're good to go. Lights are on, everything's been checked, we're good. Let's go ahead and bring those throttles up. Let them stabilize just a little bit. And Toga. That did not work. Now, isn't there a hidden click right here? Yeah. But it turned LNAV and VNAV off. That's weird. I don't know why I did that. Anyway, there they go. And we're off. Well, we're rolling. We're not off yet. There's 80 knots. Try and keep her in the center here. Those lights are pretty bright, aren't they? Oh, a little too much.
V1.
Rotate.
There's rotate. I don't know why it calls V1 twice. There we go. Positive rate of climb. Gear coming up. Fantastic. We'll just follow our flight director there. Apparently I need to calibrate my yoke just a little bit as well. That's alright though. Alright, let's try the VNAV button again there. There we go. Okay. Following that flight director. Easy days. Ooh, she's climbing quick. Remember, we got to get above 2,300 but stay below 6,000. So, and that's by the time we make our turn out here. There's 2,000 there. I need to bring that trim down just a wee bit. There's 24, so we're looking good. That trim coming down just a little there. There we go. Don't want her to drop too far though. Nosing over a little bit. We can bring up one setting of flaps. Come on up. There we go. Still looking good. Nose is coming down on its own where we want it. And we will be coming up on our turn here in a little bit. I'm just going to fly it for a minute. Just because I like flying it. There's those clouds. I do have active sky installed. Using that. Just a little down trim on the nose there. Next setting flaps coming out. Oh, must have hit a little thing of wind there, huh? A little bumpy. Oh yeah, we got a little bit of turbulence in there. That's alright though. Bring her on back. We don't want to exceed 250 knots. There we go. Alright, coming up on our turn, we're going to start it here, and I'm going to throw on the autopilot. Bam, there it is. Let go of the controls. Let's go ahead and get those flaps the rest of the way up. Auto brake can go off. Engine start selectors can go to off. There we go. Lights stay on. Track hour coming off, little jump. There it is right there. That was our warning that we're coming up on our altitude already. We can't exceed 6,000, but we can fly to 6,000. Let's take a look at this after takeoff checklist. Gear is up. We need to turn that off. Come on. Off. There we go. Fantastic. Let's see what else we got here. It's got all this stuff about climb, blah, 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 retracting flaps. We've got the flaps are up. gear is off, auto brakes are off, engine start selectors are off, and that takes care of our after takeoff checklist. And that means, ladies and gentlemen, you guessed it once again, it is time for some of that obligatory elevator music. Alrighty, we're a little ways out from our top of descent here yet, a little over 100 miles in fact, but I want to knock out this descent checklist real quick and show you guys what I did to set things up for the approach. As far as the descent checklist is concerned, you're monitoring your speed, you know, change the altimeter setting once you hit transition altitude, which is going to be 5,000 feet for us. Seatbelt signs, all that stuff come on at 10,000 feet. And then for our arrival, we're going to select destination runway, select our approach, and go to our initial reference page on the FMC. I want to show you guys all that real quick. I've actually done it, but I want to go ahead and just show you what we got going on here real fast. Matter of fact, I'm going to just hop back up here and I'll pop this thing up. It's a little bit easier to see anyway. Alright, so you're going to go to your departure arrival page. You'll select your arrival. We're on the Lidro 1C arrival and the RNAV visual approach to runway 5. So you'll select those, you'll put those in there. Go to your legs page, and then you want to check out, make sure that your legs are lining up with your arrival and approach charts, which for us they are. Although I think when I briefed the approach, I think I called these out differently. No, I got it right because I got 565 on there. So you'll see that when you see the approach briefing. But anyway, so I go in there and make sure all these are lined up. I use the plan function on here. You know, you flip this to plan, you can step through, all that good stuff. But you'll see when we do the approach brief, when we got to GILO here, or GILO, however you say it, the next waypoint I couldn't put it in, so I made my own. I've shown you guys how to do that in the past. If you'd like to see it again in a future video, please make sure to say so in the comments, and I will be sure to demonstrate it. But then you just follow the approach on in from there. What's really important, especially for an approach like this, is checking your speeds and your altitude. So for example, you can see it's 850 feet twice here, and we have to be a minimum of, my brain kind of went blank for a second, we have to be a minimum of, or our minimum altitude is 940 feet at MA 566, and that was already in there, but then it dropped down to 600 something but our minimum altitude at GLO or GILO is 850 feet. So as you can see, that's not going to work out well for us, right? And that's why I went in and made a change in here. MA501 was also a custom waypoint. So when you see the approach briefing, you'll see a spot labeled base turn, and where that base turn is, that's MA501. And again, I just made that custom waypoint there. So we'll descend, you know, we'll descend 90 feet to there, and then we'll hold that through the turn. Now by this point, ideally, we should, by the time we get to GILO, we should be turning off the autopilot, and hopefully I can fly it manually without crashing into the side of the mountain. Alright, so I just want to show you guys that 91 miles from top of descent. Now we've got our descent checklist taken care of. Last thing to note on that is just before you get to the top of descent, make sure that you change the altitude on your MCP so that it continues to follow the VNAV course. If you forget to do that and you pass the top of descent point, just go ahead and change it and hit VNAV again. It might be a little behind, but it should be able to hopefully catch up. So that's it for our descent checklist. I will see you guys again here shortly. I'm going to go ahead and take care of the arrival briefing right now, and then once we're on the descent, we'll take care of the approach briefing. Alright, let's take a look at our arrival briefing here. It's going to be the Lidro 1C arrival for us. Obviously, we're going to be transitioning onto the arrival out here at Lidro. Note that we need to be at or above 4,000 feet. From there, it's to, excuse me, MA563 and then MA534. Now, by this point, we're already going to be on the approach, so I'm not going to go any farther as far as that goes, except to note that we need to be at or above 3,000 when we get to MA532, which we'll talk about when we get into the approach itself, I believe. Anyway, moving on. Couple things we need to note here. First of all, we're going to be flying the runway 5 approach. That's the funner of the two, and thankfully the wind's going to work out for us. Now, for special procedures, operating limitations, you can see these charts here. We're not going to dig into those, but I do want to note this here. So max of 280 knots, this is your speed. Max 280 knots between flight levels 245 and 100. And of course, in the U.S., that's just 10,000 feet. It's not a flight level, but transition altitude here is going to be 5,000 feet. So that's a flight level at 10,000 feet. Anyway, moving on. Max of 250 knots at or below flight level 100, max of 220 at or below flight level 70, and then max of 200 at or below 4,000 feet. So we're going to need to make sure we adhere to those. ATIS is going to be on 130.355. Our airport elevation is 191 feet. Alright, we're into our descent here. I want to take care of this approach briefing, but real quick, there's one thing I forgot to mention on your descent checklist, and you can do this after you start the descent too. Just, you got to make sure you do it before you get too close. You want to go to your initial reference page, so just hit the init ref here, and then you want to select which flap setting you're going to land with. So for us, it's going to be flaps 40. Obviously, it's a pretty tough landing, not a super long, well, the runway's pretty long, but still, it's kind of a tough landing. So we're going to land flaps 40, 137 knots. So you click on that, and then you click on this line select key to put it in there, and that sets you up for your approach reference. So you know, so our actual VREF. So this is our landing speed. So our approach speed should be 5 knots or so higher than this. So we'll approach at about 142 knots, and then we'll land at about 137. Okay, so. Hold on, big cough here. I just love coughing in your face, right? Look at that, I'm getting almost 100 frames a second right now. Of course, there's nothing out here. Anyway, alright, that takes care of that. Let's go ahead and take care of that approach briefing. Alright, taking a look at our approach then. It is going to be the RNP visual approach to runway 5. ATIS is going to be on 130.355. Madeira approach on 119.605 and tower on 118.355. It is an RNAV approach with a final approach course of 220 degrees. You will note that 220 degrees is actually the opposite direction of what we're landing. That's because the way this approach is flown and the terrain that you fly along over here. Airport elevation is 191 feet with the runway at 146 feet. You can see your transition altitude at 5,000 feet. Transition levels by ATC. Taking a look here then at MA565, we'll come in through here I think I mentioned in the arrival briefing that we'll already be on the approach by the time we get to this point. Maybe I got it wrong, but either way, here we go at 220 degrees for 3.9 miles to MA566. It's recommended 190 knots. And then from there, it's down to our base turn with a minimum altitude of 940 feet. We make the base turn all the way around here to Gilo, or Gilo, not sure how it's pronounced. Minimum 850 feet there. Now Rosario, I couldn't get that waypoint into the FMC. It doesn't show up for some reason. So I tried to kind of customize one. It's pretty close to that. But by then we should be flying manually anyway, hopefully. Minimum 460 feet by the time you get there, and that's 1.1 nautical miles out from the runway. Okay, a few things to note here. First of all, caution. You have to execute all turns over the sea due to the high terrain to the north and west of the airport, and I got slightly distracted because my daughter and my wife just walked in. The first part up here, this is about approaching at night. That's not going to be us today, but we do note that there's PAPI lights on both sides, offset 5 degrees on the right, and it's not visible on short final. That's pretty much the gist of it. The whole thing here is a visual approach. I didn't want to do it at night because I haven't done it in a while. We do have lights all the way along the mountains here that follow this curve and take us into short final. So off we go and let's have fun. Alrighty guys, we just passed MA563. Let's go ahead and take care of our approach checklist here because we're going to get really busy really quick. The approach has been selected and briefed. Nav radios, we don't need to set those for anything. Landing lights are on. Auto brake is set. I put auto brake 3 in there. Auto spoilers are armed at this point. Engine start switches are in continuous mode. And other than that, it'll just be gear and flaps. We do have a few clouds at this altitude, but they should go away here shortly. Visibility is more than 10 statute miles for the actual final approach. So we should be good to go here. Let me go ahead and center this up. Track IR coming on, a little jump here. Little tiny jump now. It used to be a big jump, didn't it? Okay, so we're looking good so far. Let's go ahead and bring in that next flap setting. That should help slow us down just a little bit because we're going to be coming up on it really fast here. We should drop below the clouds here shortly.
2,500.
There's 2,500. I'm going to go ahead, be lowering the landing gear here shortly. Okay, so the airport is going to be right there. You can just make it out. There's our airfield right there, so this should be all kinds of fun. I haven't flown this approach in a while, guys, so let's see here. Yeah, we're just gonna let it fly for now. Let's leave that at 5. We need to get slowed down here though, so let's go ahead and drop the landing gear. That'll definitely slow us down. Aerosoft did a great job on this airport. It looks really good. So, all right, gear down 3 green. Speed's coming down nicely. Need to come down a little bit more. I'm going to throw in another flap setting there. And let's do speed intervention. So our speed is, what was it again? It's 137, so 142. Set this at 165 for the moment. There we go, looking good. It's going to come up on it quick here, you'll see.
1,000.
Ooh, a little bouncy there, huh? Come on, baby, slow down. There we go, now we're looking good. Next flap setting. What was it with the gear there? That was weird. Oh, you know what? I think I hit the wrong button. 142. There we go. Bring her down to 142. I changed which button I'm using for the flaps, that's why. Should start the turn here shortly. Next flap setting. I want to kind of be established by the time we start this turn because we're not quite established, but I want to get the speed and everything set and I want to be able to take over. Alright, and the final flap setting coming in. Alright, gears down, 3 green, flaps are set. Altitude is a little low, we dropped a little bit. I'm letting the autopilot do its thing for the moment here. Just want to see that we're getting set up where we're supposed to be on that approach, and then we'll Kick off the autopilot here. Should be seeing those lights here shortly. There's the runway. Let's go ahead and let's kick off the autopilot.
Caution, terrain.
Yep, I know terrain. And then auto throttle off as well. Start our turn here. Dropped our speed. You can see the lights there.
Terrain, terrain. Pull up.
Well, we don't want to pull up. We want to stay where we're at. A little too much on the power there. Looking pretty good so far. Haven't flown this in a long time. Can we see the pappy lights? We can. We're just a little low there. Not too bad. We need to get a little steeper into this turn though, or we are going to run into that terrain. Yeah, we overshot it. That's my bad. Way too low. Alright, come on back. There we go. And pull those throttles back a little bit. There we go. Line her up. Whoa, I'm having a tough time, huh? I changed the setting on my yoke so that it doesn't react quite as fast. There we go, looking good. Not too bad for
Approaching minimums.
having been out of the game for a while.
50.
Got a little slow there.
40. 30. Minimums.
Come on, down. Nice, not too bad. Bring in the reverse. 80 knots, turn the reversers off. Auto brakes are off. Oh, and slow her down here. Okay, now whoa, that froze up big there. Went from 60 frames a second to 16 and then back to 60. Alright, not my best landing ever, that's for sure, but not my worst either. I got a little lazy on the approach. I wasn't paying full attention, and if you don't watch it on that approach, you're going to be out of position quick, as you can see. You got to keep that turn going. Really probably would have been smarter to turn the autopilot off before making that base turn. But live and learn, right? Okay, let's get those landing lights off. Leave the taxi lights on. Take those off continuous. Trying to do stuff while you're moving can be a little difficult at times. Little throttle coming in there. There we go. And let's get that APU fired up. Not too terrible. I've certainly had worse. Turn that off. Way too much throttle in there. Let's bring those flaps all the way up. There we go. And let's take a look at our after landing checklist. Speed brake lever needs to go in the up position. There we go. I've got the throttles cut all the way back too. We're looking for gate 7, A7. Alright, let's see here. Flaps are up. Probe heat can go off. That's way up here. Probe heat off. There we go. There's A1 and A2 there, it looks like. There's A11. Oh, that was A12, not A1 and A2. There's A11. Alright, engine start switches are off. Landing lights are off. Taxi lights as required. Those are on right now. You know what I want to do here? I want to stop for just a second. Just for a second. And I want to bring in the GSX. Will they already have the guy there for parking? I chose the parking space. And it should be, what is that, 987, but I don't see a guy over there. Let's do a follow me. Let's give him a minute to come out here while I finish up this after landing checklist. Let's see, taxi lights as required, strobe lights off. That's anti-collision lights. Strobe lights off. Flight director's off. No, that's auto throttle, but I can't get it right, can I? Flight director's off. Get rid of that. There's our follow me car. Transponder goes to standby. I know where I'm going. I don't need a follow me. I just wanted to make sure that we got our guy guiding us in, and we've started the APU, right? So okay, here we go. Yeah, I didn't see him over there. Maybe I missed it, but he should be. We're going to A7. At least I thought we were. could have sworn I chose A7. I must not have. That's 6. I must have chose something other than A7, I guess. Because I want the guy out there, you know, the ground guide or whatever, to tell you whether or not you're lined up properly. Where is he going? What the heck? He's gonna go all the way up and around, isn't he? Oh my goodness. How dumb is that? Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and pause here, and I'll get this figured out, and then we'll come back as we get ready to park. Alrighty then, so the follow me car drove off the cliff. Thankfully I didn't follow him, and I went back to parking spot A7, and then GSX is telling me that I was at the wrong parking spot. Not really sure what that's all about, but it is what it is. Let's go ahead and take care of our shutdown checklist here. The brakes are set. Start levers need to go into the cutoff position. Now the APU is up and running at this point, so let's make sure that's on and good, and then we can send these start levers into the cutoff position there. Ground power, we can turn that on. Let's bring that up here. Go to menu and go to FS actions, ground connections. Let's go ahead and set the wheel chocks, connect to ground power, put the pitot covers on, and the air conditioning unit. There we go. And then we'll need to do doors here in a minute as well. So we'll open that page up there, and then we can come up here and you can see ground power is available. Bam, ground power is on, which means we can turn the APU off. There we go. Ah, there's ground power. Okay, I must have done it wrong. Oops. Okay, moving on. Let's see, doors and stairs, we can open those up. So now with the engines off, let's request GSX, let's request deboarding. And they should automatically do the stairs, I do believe. Maybe not. Let me request the stairs. No jetways. Yes, I know that. Operate stairs. So we probably got to wait for them to come over here. I don't know. Maybe it's not working right with this this airport. That's always a possibility, because I don't see anything coming. Look, that bus just drove right through that thing. Yeah, I don't see anything coming. So let's move on, because my videos already take long enough as it is, right? Okay, so where are we at here? Doors and stairs. Fuel pumps can all go off. Let's see here. Fuel pumps. We already turned the center ones off because we burned up all the fuel in the center. We can turn off seatbelt signs. Window heat can go off. 2, 3, 4. Yaw damper's already off because we don't have hydraulics at this point. Which brings me to electric hydraulic pumps. Those can both go off as well. And then all bleeds closed. So APU bleed is off. Engine bleeds can both go off. What's next? Isolation valve closed. Right click it to close it. Recirc fan goes on auto. So those are both on auto already. And then external lighting, emergency lights, battery, and ground power all off. So external lighting can go off now. Wheel well lights can go off. Taxi lights should have gone off when we pulled in. And then emergency exit lights can go off. Right click that and then right click again to turn it off. And then battery off and then ground power off. So right click again to turn the battery off. And then with the battery, well, we got ground power going, right? Yeah, see, it moved everything. FS actions, ground connections, ground power, disconnect, and there we go. That's gonna wrap it up for this one, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry the GSX is not working. I don't know what that's all about. That's kind of strange. It's probably somewhere that follow me drove off the cliff right over there. So ground services are probably over here in the ocean trying to figure out why our airplane's not over there. So that's always fun. But anyway, this was a good flight. I had a good time with it. It was a pretty long one, but it was definitely an enjoyable flight. Thank you, Alex, for recommending it. And let me know down in the comments, guys. First of all, let me know what aircraft you want to see next. Another 737, or do you want to see the 747? It's going to be one of those two. Until I'm more confident in the stability of my simulator, I'm not really installing anything else. I'll probably install that Captain Sim 757 again, but I don't want to fly that one yet. I want to fly either this one or the 747. So you guys let me know down in the comments which one you'd like to see next. If you have a route suggestion, I'm all for it. If you haven't already done so, please go ahead and smash that subscribe button. We're close to 9,000. I'd like to see if we can clear 10,000 before the end of the year. Thumbs up, guys. Give the video a thumbs up, because if you like what you're seeing, if you're liking the content, then I'm going to do more of these. But if there's something specific you're looking for and it's not this, then I'll know, because I'm not getting very many likes on the videos. Does that make sense to everybody? I think it does. Alright, that's going to wrap it up for this one, ladies and gentlemen. I'm done, I'm out. As always, keep the blue side up, unless otherwise instructed by ATC. You guys have a fantastic day.